I'm going to try something with the Powerwall that they don't recommend. I'm going to turn the mains off and just see how long it can go off grid. I'm not going to charge the car during this time because that will use more power than I can get from the solar, but just disregarding the car, I'm going to see if the system will survive how I use electricity in the house being off grid. Here's the battery charge over the last 2 weeks. So it survived most of the time, but that's included car charging as well. So if I look at this, the blue is the load of the house, and when the blue goes really high there, that's basically because I've had the car on the charge. But this time I'm going to leave the car off and just charge it elsewhere, just to see how this goes without an electric car. You can see a couple of weeks ago I actually ran out of power here. I mean, it hit the 10% reserve, but it's still grid connected, okay? And that's because going back 2 weeks, the battery died, and you can see the grey line there. That's when I got power from the grid. Now, if I go back and have a look what happened there just a couple of days before it, the yellow is the sun, and we had 2 bad days, okay, of weather. And even though I wasn't charging the car, I still ran out. If I used that 10% reserve, maybe it would have stayed because it only just ran out. But I just want to test how this goes. So we'll see what happens. Now you can see the uptime. It's been going for quite a while, nearly a month. Today's the 22nd of May. And I'm currently still grid connected. Just having a look at what's actually here. Now, of course, the connection to Tesla is not available, but I do that twice a day for a few minutes with a 2 kilobit a second link just to keep it happy. And otherwise it would have that 2-minute outage that I spoke of before. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the mains off from the grid, and this grid status will change, and then we'll just see what happens. Alright, I'm turning off the mains now. And there it is, we're disconnected from the grid. We'll see what happens. Alright, I've just turned the mains off, and now I'm going to refresh this grid status page. And there it is, system islanded active. So I am not connected to the grid now. And everything stayed alive for now. Let's just see how it goes. Back here in the kitchen where I've got my awesome little display here, the grid obviously showing 0, which it would have anyway, but whenever there's power spikes when you turn something on or off, the grid has little fluctuations there, and it's noticeable in the morning too as the neighbourhood is doing a lot of things. So I anticipate that this is going to be a rock solid 0 for the grid. So it's going to be cleaner power, and what I mean is not green save the world clean. I mean a very pure power supply because it's coming from a battery rather than a grid that's got, spikes and bits all around it. Here's the weather forecast for the rest of the week according to the Bureau of Meteorology. And today at the top there, the 22nd of May, is sunny. It's very sunny today. But we've got some cloudy days coming up apparently, and then raining on Saturday. So I'll really see how this goes. Alright, everything was going well until the next day, the 23rd, at about mid-morning. The amp that's down here just went off and then came back on pretty much straight away. Now the computer was unaffected at that time, but obviously something was wrong. And then a few seconds later, the computer went off, everything went off. So the Powerwall couldn't keep providing power. Even though I had plenty of battery, there was plenty of charge in it, the only thing that was going on different, I guess you could say, is I had the washing machine going. And it was on its final spin. However, it wasn't using much power. So I thought, maybe the power factor's off because it's a motor, it's an inductive load. And I checked into that, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I don't think that was the problem either. But anyway, that's what happened. It didn't survive, so I've gone back to grid connected. I've got a time lapse here of the day leading up to when I turned it off the grid, which was about now, and a beautiful sunny day, and obviously I was running off batteries overnight. Then the next morning it was also sunny right up until the point when it failed. Now you can see that I was getting just over 3.5 kilowatts of solar at the time, and as shown here, plenty of sunshine on the roof, and also the battery was at about 97% at the time it died. So I don't see a reason for it dying, to be honest. I thought the power factor might have been bad, so I checked on the reactive power and apparent power, but it doesn't look so bad. So here's this morning on the 24th. I tried to put the washing machine on again to try and replicate this. So this first spike here is just the kettle, and you can see there's no reactive power there, so it's basically a resistive load. so that's fine. And then after that here is when I had the washing machine on. Now the washing machine is also actually pretty good as far as power factor is concerned. So, you know, nothing to it. It certainly didn't go anywhere over 5, which is what it's rated to. So it was well within limits. So I really don't know why it decided to die yesterday.